take us back to when we first started and then bring us up to like, yeah.
This project was almost about a year, to be honest. From when we first found out about it, very early January, had initial meetings in February, and then I think we started actually working on researching and conceptualizing in April and May. And through the summer, we were doing test shooting, scheduling, all the logistics, prepping, props, and all that good stuff. And we shot in August and made it happen. I mean, there's so many layers to like shooting underwater. Uh, Through the summer, we had multiple test shoots because there were so many things that we felt like we didn't know that we didn't know. And knowing that we're going to be, especially for myself and my compositions, we wanted to focus a lot on the costuming and the prep for that. So some of the test shoot days were sort of allocated specifically to testing different materials and seeing how they sort of respond to light underwater, and then testing like the buoyancy of different props. And in the process of doing that as well, like getting comfortable with the underwater housing that the camera was in.
When we first heard about being awarded the commission, we knew we wanted to try something that neither of us had done before. It was almost immediate that we decided to build upon the architecture of the visitor center and pay homage to the waterline that existed in the early 1800s. My process normally begins with sketches, so I began to get to work on creating tall 6x1 compositions with the generous help and unwavering support from the City of Toronto museums and heritage staff. Tecumseh stood out immediately, and I love the idea of placing him underwater, almost like a fallen warrior, which immediately led to the concept of him as a young child dreaming. We also worked with sculptural elements to accompany the compositions. The eagle is an important figure in my culture and represents the teaching of love. The medallion worn by Red Jacket was also an interesting symbol, as it was given to him by George Washington following the Revolutionary War.
The dive training was pretty intense. I think for me, it was the most intense. Trying to get comfortable in the water into the sensation of breathing underwater. It was a bit of a struggle also because like, I can't swim and that's like sort of been the whole sub narrative of this entire project is like, how are they going to do this when one of them can't even swim?
Any words for the camera?
What are we doing?
There's a few things that we had to sort of have on our checklist when we were creating our compositions, like how they would fit in an extremely tight, vertical sort of narrative, sort of plane of reading. And that's why the images that you see are sort of kind of all presented that way between Yuma's various compositions, or Red Jacket, sort of fighting the younger version of himself. Yeah, you sort of see the images composed in a way that allows everything to kind of fit in that pretty tight frame. When I was thinking about the project, I was thinking with that 6x1 frame, I was sort of brainstorming on how best I could animate the space and make it feel alive, even within that tight frame where it doesn't feel like too much is getting lost. And I wanted to focus on some sort of like immersion. So even though you're not seeing the full figure, you're seeing enough that sort of like gives you an idea of what's happening. That's where you have the drum and the motion of the hand, and then the drummer asleep. And then with the other image as well, you have the trumpeter sort of pointed upwards a little bit, playing upwards in a way that follows like the line of sight of a viewer. So we're just thinking about how we could animate the exhibition site.